Hello, 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 my fellow burnt out besties. Welcome to Sass and Small Talk. I am your host, Deb Bellino of Sass and Smalls, coming to you from the creative hub of all creative hubs, the glorious artistic space of House of Owl, my home away from home, nestled here in the beautiful city of Victoria, BC. I'd like to take this opportunity to humbly acknowledge the Esquimalt, Songhees, and Wasanic nations, past and present, on whose traditional territories of the Algonquin-speaking people we learn, we live, and we work. And indeed, we're here to work, thanks to an incredible opportunity given to our team at Sass and Smalls. So much gratitude to StoryHive in partnership with TELUS Optic TV for supporting our vision of providing a safe space to share our wonderful, relatable stories from local parents and caregivers and experts within our community. The guests that I've invited to participate in this series offer an abundance of knowledge and insight and want nothing more than to help us, yes, us, get our sass back.
I need my sass back.
Oh, you too? Well, if you want that chaos to be a thing of the past and you're ready to get back some of that sass, I got you. Hey, I'm Deb, host of Sass and Small Talk, reclaiming the joy of parenthood beyond burnout. As a mom of two smallies, juggling all the things from caregiving for elderly parents as an active member of the sandwich generation, homeschooling, while navigating special needs. With my own neurospicy brain, I'm no stranger to caregiver and parenting burnout. Through this lived experience, I've met some of the most amazing local parents and experts within my own community of Victoria, BC. They'll share real stories of isolation, loss of self, and burnout, and how they found renewed purpose, all while embracing the chaos that is our lives. So, join us here at House of Owl. Take a seat, grab your poison, and let's talk. Darling,
I need my sass back.
okay, let's talk making the pivot when becoming parents. This mind-blowing, gobsmacking, life-altering milestone is one of the most blissful, rewarding, and most confusing crossroads that so many of us encounter in this game called life. So we wanted to kick off our very first episode with a topic that many of us primary caregivers and parents, and specifically mamas, can relate to. Making that shift from career to family and the pressures that come with is no easy feat. We all know this. And although there's no right or wrong way to navigate next steps in becoming parents, we always end up choosing what's best for our family anyway. But the one thing we can all agree on is that a change does take place, whether we like to admit it or not. Those tiny little toes sure carry a lot of power. This shift that I'm referring to is the very reason why our wonderful guest is here with us today. Throughout her career, she continually evolved and eventually made the pivot to accommodate to this new role as mama. I like to think of her as Victoria's sweetheart. She's a wife and twin mom of three insanely beautiful kids, her 4-year-old boy-girl twins and an 8-year-old sporty little man, the very people who inspired her to make this brave leap of faith. Now, prior to becoming a mama, she took her psych and business degrees and used that fabulous big old brain of hers to land the top sales award over several years, working for 2 Fortune 500 companies in 2 separate industries. Whew. She was a corporate sales professional turned stay-at-home mompreneur. A passionate writer, a freelance marketer, she created multiple 6-figure business as a content creator. She's a mental health and physical wellness advocate, a community ambassador, and an online educator. She's also a published author in Island Parent and West Coast Families magazine. And now her latest endeavor, good grief, lady, do you even sleep, my love, is passing on all her best-kept secrets to other aspiring self-made entrepreneurs on how to generate online income with a variety of digital courses. What a way to pay it forward. I absolutely love that. Now, we have to add in our fun facts. She is an only child who skipped grade 2, told you she had a big old brain, and she's equally addicted to high achievement as she is to Vietnamese salad rolls, sushi, and Thai food. And you will be shocked to know this is her very first guest appearance on a video podcast. My burnt out besties, let's welcome our very first guest on this season's Sass and Small Talk, the brain behind Momma Mills blog, Natasha Mills.
Oh my gosh.
Hello,
Thank
Natasha.
you so much for that warm welcome, Deb.
Oh.
Are you serious? That was so heartwarming.
Okay,
I'm gonna
so
cry.
you must have heard your accolades and your achievements read to you out loud at some point, but like, how does it feel to sit back and like hear it, see all the steps that went into where you're at right now? This hard work, 8 years, specifically 4 years. Look at you. How do you feel?
Honestly, I feel so held right now. Like I haven't had anybody say it back to me like that ever. So thank you. Especially since becoming a twin mom. But before that, there was some praise here and there in the corporate world. This is so much more special though, hearing the full, well-rounded picture back. And I'm just so grateful to be here. This is my first ever guest appearance on a podcast, not even just video, just ever.
Oh, you should be so proud of yourself.
So thank you for having me. And that was so sweet for you to mention all those things. And I'm just so happy to be here. Yeah, thank you.
We're honored because, Natasha, you are such a joy, such a presence. You really are Victoria's sweetheart.
Oh, thank you.
Because I think a lot of my mom friends, they've heard of you, but they also trust you.
Yeah.
That takes a lot.
Yes.
To be able to win the trust of other vulnerable moms, right?
It doesn't happen overnight.
It doesn't. So you're killing it, girl.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hard work went into this. So anyways, we have so much to talk about today, and I'm dying to get to the
meat and potatoes.
Yeah, let's go to the meat and potatoes. So let's get to know everything about this wonderful, wonderful woman. We know you came from the corporate world, and that was big time impressive. Wow, right? And it's something, and of course, you had shifts within your career if you were able to switch from one company to another, Fortune 500 companies, no less.
Yeah.
Then you become a mom. Gentle little nudge, cute little nudge said, okay, you're a mom now.
Yeah.
What's the next step? What did you do? What was in your headspace at that moment when you became mom and you still loved your career? What happened?
Well, I feel I had this new sense of fulfillment in being a mom. I became passionate in being a mom, and there was definitely challenges in being a first-time mom. For one, we got pregnant very quickly in our relationship, so that's for another day. But definitely felt this sense of monotony in the career world that I had been living. I'd already been there many years. And so each and every day that I pressed on, I felt that something was missing. I knew it. It was calling at me every time I drove the island. I was a sales rep and covering the entire island territory. And every time I booked it up there, I would drive home blasting my music on the way back thinking something was missing and I need to break out of this. And I don't know how, because I know I need this safety net. I need the security that this corporate world provides me, but something is missing. So I already had an Instagram account, but I just felt I needed a little bit more. I didn't know what. And I actually branched out and networked with another entrepreneur at the time. She said to me, you should just start a blog. So for me, I've needed these little nudges in my life, even if they're at my very fingertips. I've needed them. And then I go, aha. And then I went for it. And it was only a few months later that I launched the official Momma Mills blog, all the while kind of stick handling this account that was Miss Mills. Then I turned it into Momma Mills to coincide with the blog.
I love that. So first you were Miss Flying and then you were Miss Mama. And I love that because your friends know you. People know you enough to say, hey, this would be a great opportunity for you. You have an interesting life. You're beautiful and you're smart.
Thank you.
There's so much to share.
Thank you very much.
And so I'm so, let's give kudos to that friend.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of amazing. So now let's take the time machine and then jump to 2020, the pinnacle of the world, shutting down, but something else happened in your life, a huge shift.
Yes.
2 huge shifts, adorable shifts happened in 2020. At that point, the absolute turning point happened for you. So what happened there right before that made you make this ultimate decision to close this chapter and then move on to the next thing that you did?
Well, it certainly didn't happen right away. Like when the world shut down, it was literally the day of my appointment when they said you're having twins. Like, it couldn't have been any more profound.
You're kidding.
Pretty well, like around that same time frame, like when the NBA, everything was shutting down. And then also we had this appointment. I knew I was pregnant, which was also a shock because I was already only 1 year deep into this new career path in the medical field, switching from a different industry. And I worked very hard to get into this because it felt like, okay, this is that thing that was calling me. Maybe this is the industry that's going to work. But my universe shut that down real quick with 2 buns in the oven. Yeah. And I don't know. I felt, I continued with my pregnancy behind a desk, getting this big twin belly growing and growing. And all the while, I started to feel this urge to share a little bit more deeply on how uncomfortable I was in this pregnancy. Still very superficial online in terms of like not getting into
the depths of it.
Yeah, not superficial and being fake, but rather just keeping everything very safe.
Safe. Absolutely. Yeah. It's not that you weren't authentic. It was just, there was a little bit more boundaries at the time. And that's understandable. It's the beginning phases, right?
Yeah.
Of having twins.
But when they came out into the world, I knew there was no going back to this job. And going to a career that was so grueling with high travel and just completely disrupting my nervous system to be in front of so many people every day and just a grinding rat race sales role. Yeah. And this isolation of being home with twins and a impressionable 4.5-year-old older boy.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know. My walls came down and I started sharing more deeply and just raw truths about how much I was struggling in these times that we were all living in, and also not knowing what the heck I'm doing with these twins, but trying my best anyways, and just felt so much fulfillment when I was getting all these messages from around the world saying me too, and you have no idea how much it means that you're sharing this.
100%. You're using your influence and opening the doors to your home and saying, this isn't easy. I'm not going to pretend it's easy. And I think that's lovely. I think that's where I think people loved you already, but I think this is where you really got another kind of, you branched out into a whole other audience of not just twin parents, but definitely parents who were struggling as well, especially during the pandemic.
Yes, right. And what's interesting too is stroller companies and all these other things were sending me gifts if I would promote it. So I was utilizing my sales and marketing skills, and sort of everything was kind of synergizing. Is that a word? Like it was just kind of aligning, and I was playing up the assets and the skill sets that I had already in an authentic way that just fit my lifestyle. And I've always wanted to get into marketing. I just didn't know how to make that switch in the sales world. And so everything just kind of came to fruition when it was like, well, then you be your own freelance marketing
100%.
entrepreneur,
It was so inspiring. I saw that post. I remember that post. You were with, it was either both the twins or one of the kids or something. Yes. And it was almost like you were in a seated position. If you're to go scroll down Momma Mills blog, you'll see it in there. And that was a pinnacle for me too, to see that someone else who I admire made that switch, a really tough switch to say, I'm going to start my own kind of, or not start, but I'm going to continue on with what I'm doing and really
that picture build. You mean, yes, that's fast forwarding to when they just turned 1 and a bit. And I was off. I didn't feel confident even still to make that full shift until I had a big development company in the area say, look, we want you to be our real family and we're going to give you an annual contract.
Nice.
And that felt like that little last nudge of security that I needed.
Yes.
Again, I wish I had done it without these nudges, and then eventually they're yelling in your ear like universal whispers and being like, it's time, girl, you got this. But
we need it. Sometimes we need gentle nudges and sometimes a kick in the pants. Mm-hmm. That happens for me. Sometimes it has to be drastic for me to open my eyes and go, I guess. Whatever that higher power is, I think we all have some sort of like, some people say it's like inner voice. Some people call it prayer. Some people call it the universe. Whatever it is, we all, I think, need that gentle nudge. And I'm glad you got that nudge.
Yeah. And it can be all of the above, too.
Yeah.
So important 100%. To act on them because I resisted.
You listened eventually.
I would say, going back full circle here, in my before kids, I didn't listen to those nudges. I just wanted to be that employee who doesn't quit. And even if the incentive wasn't there in that first career role that I had, there was no even commission structure. It was just, I kept on going and going and going. And then eventually it didn't, after 7 years, I made a shift because they let me go on a severance package. Talk about
Perfect.
not listening at all.
Yes.
Then I had a chance to explore that blog a bit more for 6 months.
Did you wait till it felt safe to leave? Like, did you say, okay, well, I have to make sure that this online presence is, it's going somewhere, and or did you did you kind of take that blind leap of faith and then kind of go, well, we'll see. I kind of know I'm going to do okay.
Yes,
Or
the
were you-
latter first.
Okay.
For 18 months on mat leave, I knew that
smart.
it was coming. Like I could really just, because I was being authentic. My following was growing.
Yeah.
Opportunities were happening, and I implemented my psychological background
Yes.
in education to know my consumer and be real with my followers, and knowing these companies that want to work with me. So I feel like I had this dual presence that just worked very well.
You used your skills, your education, your big old brain. And you know what I love about this is the psychology aspect, not just for business, but even for yourself.
Mhm.
You're like, there is something talking to me. There's something telling me to do that. What's the psychology behind this?
Yes, yeah.
And you even admitted you're self-proclaimed addicted to high achieving.
Oh yeah,
you've
recovering.
you're a recoverer. How do we call it? You're in recovery
Yes,
with
yeah,
high achievement.
for sure.
And well, I'm gonna. This was something I was gonna ask you later, but
we can jump to
let's jump to it. I want to talk about how it's no secret that you're driven. No secret. So, perfectionism, high achievement, it's a double-edged sword. I've heard you say that before. And it's, on one hand, it helped you elevate and go that next mile and help yourself, get to that level. On the other hand, it's so damaging in some ways to your, to your physical health and your mental health.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you cope with that? And what exactly was this double-edged sword for you?
Yeah, well, I'm still learning every day how to be a nicer boss to myself now that this is my full-time job. I just need boundaries. I really try to stop the scroll. And what's been therapeutic for me on the positive edge of the sword is that I'm exposing myself to putting myself out there, regardless of validation, regardless of the hate that will undeniably come here and there, the trolls, the mean comments, the backhanded compliments, all of these things. Yeah. And putting myself out there raw all the time. There has been healing in that too.
Good. And then you develop a community of like-minded women and moms and, parents. But also, even offline, you have that support system as well.
That's been beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also just knowing when I show up my most true self, my most messy states in the kitchen, etc., my most I can't parent right now, people will still hold me, and there's community regardless. Like I don't have to be perfect. In fact, people have told me multiple times that they relate to me and love me even more when I show this other harder, challenging side.
I think it's wonderful because I think there should be a balance, to be honest. I love the aesthetics of I can't hate against curated photos and videos and making things look pretty. I'm an artist. You're an artist.
Yeah,
we like pretty
they
things.
have a place.
They have a place. But I think when that becomes the center of your creative kind of, your project in your mind, this is how I want things to be. And it's what you obsess over and the perfection of that could be absolutely damaging for sure. But when you marry it with the reality and the true behind the scenes, image, I think that's powerful. That's powerful stuff.
Absolutely. And it mimics real life tenfold. Like life isn't always, which hopefully not always down and low. And it's hopefully it's unrealistic to say there's only ever a highlight reel, which is what so many creators are still doing out there.
True.
Which is, teach their own. But I think if people aren't growing on the online space, they should try to think about working in some of the real life talk a bit more often.
100%. I'm working on that too. It's really hard to get vulnerable because you're so scared of what not even the online people will say, but the offline people. I've got relatives and friends who they know the true story, and I'm worried, like, you're really going to share that? And I do get worried about that myself, and that's held me back, to be honest.
And our upbringings play a huge role in that too.
As well. Yeah, and out of respect, and there's a lot of things that we have to kind of worry about. And so I appreciate that you're taking these brave, bold steps because other women who are maybe just starting or they've been in the space like myself. I tried really hard to be in the blog space. I was in baby styling and most of my kid styling, and it was a wonderful experience. But most of my kind of the income that I would get from that would be from styling, from the job itself. But I really had a difficult time with the online portion of things, And so, I mean, this is where I love that you are paying it forward with your with your creative mind and then taking your skills from your corporate job and marrying it with family life and saying, hey, listen, we can have an online presence, but let me hold your hand through it. And I think I needed that. Like, where was Natasha when I had my blog? But I'm years older than you. And I think what happened is I was kind of one of the pioneers of blogging and I just didn't do it right, I don't think. And then I gave up. And I think that's something to really kind of be grateful for, to be in this safe space where we can look up to other people who started online businesses and then thrived and now want to share that knowledge. And I think that's a beautiful thing of paying it forward.
Thank you very much.
Should be so proud.
Thank you.
But okay, so let's go back though to some of those. And I know you're working through getting past the commentary and the comments and all that. Let's talk about imposter syndrome and comparison bias, and you see someone as confident and someone with gumption as yourself to be out there on both ends of the spectrum, showing reality, showing curated, showing beautiful things, showing the not so beautiful things. You get comments left, right, and center.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the impact of social media once upon a time, or if it continues today, on your mental health.
Yes. Yeah.
Take us on that journey.
Oh gosh. I will say that the hating comments have died down. I used to get them worse when I was more raw, I would say, in when the twins were a lot younger, and even more so like last year. I think I'm still every day learning how to show up in my most vulnerable states. I've held back a little bit and I am playing it more safe.
She found a sweet spot.
I think so, but then I'm not happy with that either, because I know I'm playing it safe because I'm afraid, and it's kind of this vicious circle, right? Like, because right now I feel like my mental health is at a place where it's more fragile. Like, look at the economy, look at the world right now. And I feel like I've been doubling down on more of the sponsored posts. And if I'm being honest, I'm showing up a little sometimes, but also I'm protecting my mental health in 100%. That too.
That's a boundary right there. Yeah. Why not?
Go around in circles overthinking this all the time. And because my highest performing posts, not that that's the reason I'm doing it, but they're usually the ones where I am like,
raw.
Here's things not to say to twin moms. That's one that I posted recently, and it went viral. 100,000 views is pretty good.
That was pretty good.
But that's not the point. But it's usually a measure of like, am I reaching the right people?
Are you reaching them? Are you affecting them? Are you creating an impact? And sometimes we do have. Okay, let's talk about this very important thing. When you run a business online, we have to look at the metrics. We have to look at the likes. We have to look at the engagement. And then it becomes personal.
Yes.
So how do you balance that?
How do you separate that? Oh, gosh. Well, for one, I always try to limit who's looking at my stories. That just throws me off.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I like to just generally see how many and if it's gone up or down. But I don't like to look at names specifically. That throws me off. That's how I protect my mental space there. I think it's fascinating. I'm actually I love looking at metrics for the business side of things. And I love to be able to show conversion, clicks to links for the companies that are interested in that. I'm fascinated by what people are interested in what I'm sharing. That part is good in terms of metrics and that.
That's where your marketing came to play, right?
Yes, but when I pour my whole heart into a sponsored post, and I know the algorithm is sort of limiting it per se because it is sponsored and you have to title it as such, then it's hard not to take that to heart and want to give it your all anyways. But I continue to show with integrity. If I'm paid a certain amount for a job, I'm going to give it my all regardless.
You do. And it's funny because I can name 5 things right now. Well, maybe not right now because I don't have the best memory, but I could on one hand, I could say right away, right off the bat, that there are products that you have sold to me, because if it works for your family of 3, if it works for you, chances are it will work for this mama.
Yeah.
And whether it was their smoothies
Yeah.
or a trip somewhere, or like,
A service for decluttering your home.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest one, most latest thing is seeing that you shared your home space and how you admitted that you were living a little bit of a chaotic
very
life.
much.
And I'm like, she does? What? Natasha lives chaotic?
Oh, for
Like,
sure.
I
Yeah.
just admire you so much. I mean, I don't sit here and go, oh, she has no imperfections. No, we know you're human. But to see your home, and you like literally showed your home, and there were moments of there's corners there, and then admitted that someone came in. That was very personal. I didn't find that ad like. I found that very inspiring, that
Educating, maybe.
and educating,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
somebody, it was okay to ask for help.
Yeah. And a lot of these times,
need that.
for sure. That's how I like to mix up, diversify what I share. I don't want it to always be
Product.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's yes. And so most people don't even know that type of a person exists out there who can help to declutter your home and create systems. And
Yeah.
so that's like the sweet spot for me when we're looking at branding and what makes sense to me and what's actually useful and valuable in our world. That isn't just always the next shirt or pair of jeans.
Exactly.
Like, how can I support people with things that I'm actually really struggling with right now? And then a lot of the times it's a trade basis. I'll receive the service from said person, and then I'll put my heart and soul into educating for my audience and showing why I'm struggling and how she was the solution.
She helped
Which I think is a very fair trade.
It is. It is a very fair trade because, and especially in a platform where people respect you and look up to your opinions. And the beautiful thing is you don't represent anything that you don't stand behind.
100%. Yeah.
And that's authentic right there.
And that's a huge, huge piece of what we should chat about today. Maybe it's just that a lot of people are confused in the influencer space. How are you making an income? And this company only wants to offer me $25 or $50. I'm quitting. It's like, do you even care about that company? Is it some random piece of jewelry from some random email? It's like, no, you got to be selective and continue to work your way up until you have a brand and people that trust you and your opinions. And then be selective with the things that you're willing to promote, and be okay and humble enough to do trades until you build that credibility.
Absolutely. And I see you do a lot of those volunteer positions where you're supporting the community, and that resonates because I can tell that it is from the heart. That is something that you want to support other women, women in business,
absolutely.
Community, helping mothers in need.
Mamas for Mamas, yeah. And the
That's
Hospitals Foundation, which we've been at together.
Yes.
And that's really important to me. And I don't do it
is.
for clout or anything like that. I just think my heart is, it's here on this earth to heal and to provide for people support and educate. Yeah.
Well, then let's talk about that. How when you made that switch, was part of it also like, I'm doing great in my career. I'm learning so much. I'm challenged enough. But when you said there was something missing in there, was it this meaningful, like this purpose
Yes.
to give back to the world as well?
And to be able to have a craft that allows me to display my creativity. I was looking for it in every nook and cranny as a sales rep in the grocery store. That was my first job. I was looking for it in all these different areas and wasn't quite hitting the mark. Setting up in the grocery stores or whatever it was at the time. And it's absolutely done a 180 now. My life is extremely challenging, but so much more profound than
profound. Yeah, you can sleep at night and go, I made a difference in this world.
Yeah,
that is incredible, and I love that it was inspired by your little people, for sure. But then wanting to be closer to them and see them. Actually, let's go back to that because I think this is the hard part for me. And I know there's a lot of people who are trying to build a business or trying to do something for themselves. And it might not be necessarily for business, but for purpose.
Yeah.
But how do you share that? There's a blurry line when it comes to a boundary, when it comes to kids and home life and work life. What did you do? What do you do to create that boundary? Because it's easier, even though there's stresses involved, working outside of your home. How did you balance that?
Oh, goodness. This is a work in progress every day. I truly need to knock myself on the head all the time with creating boundaries. And that means essentially putting my phone away and just being present with them because I'm on it so much. That is my work. When people try to limit their phone use, it's a lot easier for people who aren't content creators or people who solely are creating their craft on their phone.
Part.
And Yeah. So it's creating those mindful boundaries. It's getting out for a walk without even the phone, which is hard because you need your music for a walk, podcasts, all the things. There's all these things that allow for screen time. And so for me, it's especially hard. My life now, there's no such thing as total freedom.
No.
But there's flexibility now more than ever before. And it's even still so stretched. So I can't imagine living in a world where there was constraints like there was in the corporate world and having 3 kids.
Yeah.
And knowing something is missing inside.
So there is freedom, but it's tricky. It's balanced out with a little bit of, okay, now what do I do with this freedom? Especially, and in my case, and I know you've shared in the past that with the chaos and
ADHD.
Feeling that your attention is divided.
Yes.
Like, how do you stick to what you need to
Very grateful for childcare.
Yeah.
They are at a really nice daycare, and then we try to manage Hudson, my eldest, with either the school days or camps. And then it's really just knowing,
like planning.
It's planning. It's knowing that you've got these tight windows before pickup.
Right.
And I've hired a virtual assistant now who's keeping me in check.
Brilliant.
That took way too long to finally do. I'm such a high achiever that I tried to do it on my own for way too long. So that really started to spill over this year. So I got myself in check, but like financially, things are by the books now, and it's taken me a long time to get to this
get to where you're at. So you are very much an advocate for outsourcing.
Well, I am now, but I wish I would have been
Yeah.
a little bit more. I tried to do it all for way too long.
I say that all the time. In fact, this is why I've always had a podcast, but I was my own editor. I was my production person. And I was this. And now we're here at House of Owl, and I'm going to do a little plug because they have taken away that stress. We have a very talented camera person, and we have our production crew and camera people and our lighting, and I don't have to worry about that. So now I can focus on the creative aspect. And does that kind of go hand in hand with perfectionism? Like, I want to control it because I feel like, well, it's just harder to explain to other people, and but then letting go, that's evolving.
It really is necessary to grow. It can be so hard when you've come from a world of wanting to manage it all yourself, and lucky to have corporate world control my taxes and everything, all the things. It's just done for you. So I came in very naive, and I'm finally up to speed now. And but the flexibility is profound now. It's what we need. But you still have to be strict and diligent with your time and organized with your time. And I can fall off pretty quickly if not. Sure, I'll go book myself a hair appointment here and there. And then it's like, did you even consider how many deliverables you still have this week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's you talking to yourself. That's your boss.
Yes.
Well, okay. So let's talk about the very last thing that I really wanted to talk to you about was you are so self-aware, and I know that's been a journey in and of itself.
Yeah.
And you're evolving into a more centered person, just knowing where your limitations, where your boundaries are, and releasing some of that pressure on yourself, the perfectionism and the high achieving. You're saying, look, I can't be perfect, and I'm okay to not be perfect. What are some things that you do, practices that you do? And let's even talk about your partner, where do you talk about where you can share some loads and where you can kind of lean on him? And even for a little TLC, do you make sure that you get out and rest? Talk to me about how you recover and repair yourself.
Oh, goodness. I love this has been the caveat for me, is that I'm my own boss now. So I don't even know that I've tapped into this whole side of what I need to be doing even close to the extent that is needed for the situation that I'm living right now. But I'm just scraping the surface with Pilates.
Nice.
Going for walks in the sun.
Something physically good for you. Yeah.
Leaving my phone at home. Again, very fortunate to be able to take, sponsored trips and bring my husband and get that alone time. But usually that's a lot of work too. So I'm not sitting here. I don't really have the boundaries in check yet, but I'm doing okay nevertheless. I'm working on it. So I really do, before summer's over, need to take a true trip. Boundary, even if it's one day, leave the phone at home the whole day.
Oh, gosh.
I just need to do it.
What does that feel like?
I don't know.
Have you ever done that?
Maybe not the whole day. Not by choice. My phone may have died. I don't know. That sounds horrible, but I'm always...
That's the world we live in. And it's your business. So it's not like, oh, I'm dependent on my phone. I mean, it's your business.
Yeah. I will say, I love what I do though,
You
like my
love what
craft.
you
But then
do.
there's a fine line between am I recording and documenting from the heart, intrinsically motivated, and then it becomes, okay, I've got to check off these deliverables for this hotel.
Right.
So it's like I'm actually loving all of this. Like I fully love what I do. And
Yeah.
then it's like Mitch is like, okay, can we go enjoy the day now? And then it's like, how do I find that?
I always say this, like, just a second, just I'm almost done. And I feel terrible because my editing, skills, even for just reels or photos, it's still pretty slow. And so I found that like what sacrifices like showing up online or showing up for my family. And that's that
Yes.
ongoing conundrum.
Yeah.
But I know deep in my heart I could do more online. And I'm like, but I'm already taking so long when I'm with my family and I'm taking videos, and this is really and that's what I want to ask you too. It's like you want to show up as your authentic self. So you document pretty much everything, don't you? Like, do you feel like you do?
I do feel like it. I feel like as soon as I put my phone away, the most beautiful sunset comes out, and the twins will put their arms around each other. It's like that's
and then
just
you're like, I gotta take the picture.
yeah, and I'm being forced to just really have a
Yes.
word with myself and enjoy it for its own sake. But
Yeah,
honestly, it's just an everyday evolution of
it really is.
like burnout and learning that in order to feel a sense of peace and relaxation, I need to be more in tune with these relaxation strategies and being present.
Yeah, I love that.
And as soon as I start doing that more often, I know I'll be in my euphoric, most
space.
perfect, well-rounded space.
Yes.
And then still slip off. But
And
just
still
getting
slip
there more
off.
often would be the goal.
Yeah, and like it's wonderful when you say that. It's like you're constantly evolving, but like I'm gonna fall off the wagon once in a while too, and it's okay. I think that's being kind to yourself. I think that's lovely because you're constantly evolving. That's the whole theme of this. At first I wanted to talk to you about leaving your career
Yeah.
and choosing this new life online and taking care of your kids and being able to balance the two. But we went so much deeper. We had so much to unpack because now we're talking about loving on ourselves and being kind to ourselves, and then being hard on ourselves, and then evolving and changing and constantly,
Yes.
going kind of with a flow, but kind of
Yeah.
following that path.
I think so. And I think we never truly get out of burnout. We just evolve
No.
with it and we learn how to manage it better. Like,
I love that you're not a stranger to burnout either, because everyone thinks that being burnt out is when you just like give up, and then you see like you've got the hand here and then you're on the ground and you can't get up and you're under your covers for years and days or whatever. And that could happen, absolutely. But sometimes burnout is hidden and you mask the burnout and you're physically exhausted, and then you could get sick. And you have shared.
I've been there. My husband's been there. And I think that's what happens when we're not paying attention to these whispers, and the fact that I could barely answer, like, what do I do to balance and relax? It's like there's a few things that I do, but I could do so much better.
Yeah, I know. I think we all can, but we're human and we're a little hard on ourselves, and that's okay because.
But for anyone struggling, you have to pay attention to those signs that you are not selfish for wanting to enjoy self-care and step away from it all.
Yeah.
And also look for other things that fulfill you other than. We have many roles, many hats. Being a mom is the biggest and most profound hat for me, but I knew that there was going to be something else out there, and fulfillment is so key, and we can burn out if we're not paying attention to what makes us.
100%. I think we always talk about like, well, how can we teach our kids and inspire our kids to be, this kind of adult one day. And I think living your purpose, evolving with all the things that are thrown at you, including motherhood and career, and then making mistakes and coming out on the other side and figuring out how to not be in that position again. All these learning milestones and moments, that's key in getting our kids to follow suit and say, Mom did it and she killed it and she made mistakes and she was okay. And look at her and she's wonderful. And I look up to Mom. And that is our best thing that we can give our kids is ourselves and our story.
Love that.
You're amazing.
You're amazing. Thank you so
Girl,
much.
I don't know why it took so long for me. But here's again, if we're going to talk about destiny and universe, I've been wanting Natasha on my personal podcast that I had that's sitting dormant right now because I can't edit. So there was something, I think we had a scheduling situation. We just couldn't get to it. And I just couldn't keep pushing for it because, again, like burnout was like starting to creep up on me. I couldn't commit to like editing my own things, and I have a bunch of things on queue. I am so glad that we reserved this moment, which just came recently, and you very enthusiastically said, yes, I'll do this, even though I know it's not always easy to be vulnerable.
It's not. I was so nervous about today, but I feel so great that
good.
I said yes to doing something new and allowing myself to share this dialogue with you. It's so much more like, it just feels so inorganic to sometimes talk on stories. Like, you know,
I know.
I don't love it. It's not my favorite. That's why I love writing. It's my therapy. It's been since day one. I used to win the creative writing awards in grades, like grade 2,
school.
like, no, I skipped grade 2, grade like 4 or 5. I think that's when I got that first little award. So I prefer writing, but using my voice in this way feels pretty good too.
You're getting to a point where I think your voice is almost taking over your writing. Like you're bringing your stories to life.
Yeah.
And I think you should be so proud of
Thank
yourself.
you.
And your kids are proud of you. And Mitch is proud of you. And I'm proud of you. And I'm proud of me. I think this is just a big love fest, community of like mamas just saying we can do this. And you have spearheaded it without knowing it for so many years.
Yeah.
But specifically the last 4 years. And I just, I got to say, like, we really did unpack a lot.
Yeah.
And I know so much can touch so many people. Different aspects of everybody's lives will be, honored by this conversation. And so I love that. And so I just wanted to quickly recap because it's always nice to kind of recap what we talked about. So burnout actually does happen in all phases, whether you stick to a career or whether you bring it home in balancing life at home and being able to honor that and how to get past the burnout, and then how social media has a positive and a negative impact, and being able to use the greatest tool ever to be able to have a business so we can be home and be creative and be with our family and still be, boss ladies, boss people, and kill it at home, but then being able to balance it with not being pulled in to the impacts of social media. I love that. And I think navigating perfectionism and high achievement, I think, and being kind to ourselves, I think that was like a really big, profound thing for me because I am constantly worried about not being good enough in what I put out there. So I want to thank you for that. Do you have anything else to add as far as like any last words to give our audience?
Oh gosh. I look back at when you were saying all those achievements of mine, and it's like it feels like a lifetime ago. And honestly, when I first came home with the twins, I felt like my entire identity was stripped from me, and it's taken years to get back and basically make lemonade out of lemons. And like life will throw curveballs, and you can, no matter what your life situation is, people going through grief and really hard times out there right now, economic times, so much uncertainty. It's like just put one foot in front of the other and keep doing what you're doing, and look to see the glimmers in your days and what makes you happy, what brings you that fulfillment outside of even just being a mom. And a mom is the greatest job in the world. It
really is.
And so if you're fulfilled with just that too, that's okay. But just look for other things too that make you feel a little closer to the identity that you know and love and you grew up with before all this crazy stuff happened.
Before the chaos kind of comes into the picture. I absolutely love it. I think we should really end there because I think knowing the glimmer, just knowing that there is hope. Yeah. I think that is beautiful. And I also want to point out, I think we can never really judge, everything at face value. And like to see someone who has struggled with mental health and perfectionism and balance and being so hard on yourself, we don't see that typically. We don't promote that. We want to be, gracious to ourselves. And so we can't judge what we see online either and assume that struggles don't happen. We are all on this journey together. I think we all have this. And so whenever we have that self-doubt, we know that there's someone, this is where social media can really, I think that this could really help us is being able to explore other accounts and see where we can be relatable. And I think that you really play that amazing role. And so I just want to thank you for sharing all the pivots in your life, how you evolved, how you allowed yourself to be you. You were wasn't she amazing? Wasn't she amazing? Like, she was nervous, please. I don't see any nerves. I'm the only one shaking here.
No.
But that's because my hand's getting weak and carrying this. But I got to say, caregivers and parents, I hope you were able to take away from this episode that I've been able to take away. And, just, keep showing up for your family, but first show up for yourself. Well, before we end, I want to ask, where can our amazing followers find you, our viewers find you, especially those who are looking into wanting to start their own business at home? Where can they find you?
Well, at Momma Mills blog, MOMMA Mills blog. And then mommamillsblog.com is my website.
I'm so grateful to you. Thank you for coming on here. Thank you for watching and sharing your time with us as well. And so let's go get that sass, and we will see you in the next episode of Sass and Small Talk. Bye.
Bye. Oh, I didn't even need to break,
You were incredible.
I need my sass back.
Signing off. See ya, guys. Bye. Signing off. See ya. Bye.